Wendy Adelson, after her ex-husband's murder, changed their children's last name from Markel to her maiden name Adelson. And now Wendy Adelson's mother is standing trial for the murder of her ex-husband, Dan Markel. And the court ruled that the fact that Wendy changed the children's last names after the murder of Dan Markel can only be brought up as it goes toward motive or for impeachment purposes. Now, I do believe that it goes toward motive. If you are familiar with this case, then you know Donna Adelson did not ever refer to Dan Markel by his name. She always referred to him in a derogatory and cutting manner. Wendy previously stated that she changed the children's last name because of the notoriety of her ex-husband's murder, and that she thought that the children would be able to get along better in Miami with her maiden name, Adelson. Well, I think that most of us would agree that it was the Adelson name that was infamous, notorious, after Dan Markel was gunned down in his driveway. In the famous love story, Romeo and Juliet, Juliet asks Romeo, "What's in a name? A rose by any other name would smell just as sweet." Though I don't believe the character Juliet was evil, I do believe that she was naive, because legacy is in a name. Identity is in a name. Dan Markel was gone physically from this realm, but he had two sons who still carried his name. And how do you completely erase Dan Markel even in death? You change the last names of his children. That's how you finish the job. Finally, I think that the state will show that the changing of the children's last name is an example, a bright light shined on the extreme apathy, the lack of sympathy, the lack of giving a fuck that Dan Markel was separated from his children, and his children were separated from him forever in this realm. All that matters, the state, I believe, is going to show to Donna Adelson and her daughter Wendy is everything Adelson. Adelson, Adelson, Adelson. If Donna and Wendy could have, I believe they would have tried to erase Dan Markel's DNA out of his own children. So the dehumanization of Dan Markel, the taking of his life, the erasure of him even in death, and this obsession that the only thing that matters is Adelson. The only thing that has value is Adelson. Working with her children or using them as tools, Donna Adelson used her son Charlie and her daughter Wendy to play God in a man's life, to take his life and then to, in a way, murder him again after he was already gone. So what's in a name? Juliet asked Romeo in the famous love story. She said to Romeo, "A rose that is called by any other name smells just as sweet." And I would like to say that changing the children's name from Markel to Adelson, well, a rose by any other name smells just as sweet. They have their father's DNA. His memory has not been eradicated, and only cost about $200 to change it back.